Hello everyone. Today's topic is homeostasis. It is the most important topic in our physiology. If this video is helpful to you, please like, comment and subscribe my channel and also share it with your friends. First, introduction. The word homeostasis, where homeo plus stasis. So homeostasis is made up of two words, homeo that means same and stasis means standing. So when different things like temperature or pH in our body is stable or stand in a same condition, that means a homeostasis. So actually homeostasis is a control system that helps to detect any deviation and response against him and try to maintain our internal environment of the body. Then the definition. Homeostasis refers to the maintenance of a constant internal environment of the body. So homeostasis, it is helps to maintenance of the constant internal environment of the body. It is maintained by control system that detect and responds to the change in the internal environment. So for an example, when our body temperature can increase, so homeostasis is the process that helps to decrease our body temperature. Then concept discovered. The concept of homeostasis was discovered by the great biologist of the 19th century, Claude Bernard, and he described that multicellular organism like man live in a perfectly organized and controlled internal environment which he called mealy interior. So, according to his concept, the multicellular organism, multicellular means where there is a multiple cell of an organism is called the multicellular organism, include a man, live in a perfectly organized and controlled internal environment. So, in a multicellular organism, there is a perfectly organized and controlled environment is present. So this is actually helpful for their living or any kind of system, nervous system or any muscle system, maintain body temperature, maintain pH all over the system, that is all are organized and all are perfectly maintained. But he don't discover the term homeostasis. The word homeostasis was introduced by the Harvard professor Walter B. Cannon in 1930. And then there is some key points that helps to understand our homeostasis concept clearly. Extracellular fluid, that is also called ECF. E extra, C cellular and F fluid. So extracellular fluid ECF. The fluid outside of the cell are constantly moves the body. So it is a type of the fluid that is present in the outside of the cell and constantly moves throughout the body. For example, blood that circulates in the vascular system. ECF contains nutrition, iron and all other substance that is necessary for the survival of cell. Then interstitial fluid or intercellular fluid. It's also called ICF. I means intra, C cellular and F fluid. So intracellular fluid is also called ICF fluid. The fluid that is present inside the cell and helps to maintain the cell structure, fluidity and the function of the cell, it's called intracellular fluid. All of the cell organisms are present or floated in the intracellular fluid. Then the next point is set limit. Normal healthy living of large organism, including man, beings depend upon the constant maintenance of internal environment within physiological limit or set limit. So means, for example, in our body, the normal blood pH is 7.4. If it is increased, it become alkaline, and if it is decreased, it become acidic. So our normal chemical reaction that are not performed properly. So the exact limit means the temperature 37.5 degrees centigrade or the blood pH is 7.5, that is the set limit. So if the internal environment derivated beyond the set limit, body suffers from malnutrition or any deficiency or any dysfunction. Then the detector or sensor. Detector and sensor both are help to recognize any deviation or any problems, and effectors that receives the detector signal and normalize the body's function. For example, if a mosquito that bite in your hand, the signal from your hand is came into the brain and brain instruct your another hand kill the mosquito. So this all over the process from hand to your brain is called the detector. It helps to detect the disease and the effectors that helps to receive the signal and the function that is needed to prevent the abnormalities or any dysfunction. So detector mainly helps to recognize the disease and effector helps to normalize our body function by prevent any other discomfort or dysfunction. You see that this is the detector and this is the integrating system and this is the effectors. So detectors are the sensors that send a signal to the integrating system that is mainly present in our brain, and from the brain that effectors that help to normalize our body. So in this way our homeostasis process or control system work on. Then the role of various system. The role of various system of the body in homeostasis. One or many systems are involved in homeostasis mechanism of each function. For example, first pH. The normal pH of ECF. E means extra, C means cellular and F means fluid. So the normal pH of extracellular fluid is 7.4. The tissue cannot survive if it is altered. If it is decreased, it becomes acidosis. And if increased the pH, so it's called alkalosis. So in both of the cases, our tissue cannot survive. The respiratory system, the blood and the kidney mainly helps in the regulation of pH. Then the body temperature. The normal body temperature is 37.5 degrees centigrade. If it is increased or decreased, the temperature altered. So means if the temperature is increased or decreased, alter the metabolic activity of the cell. So if the increase or decrease of the temperature, it alters the metabolic activity of the cell. Then the skin and the respiratory system, digestive system and excretory system, skeletal system and nerve system are mainly helps to maintain body temperature. Then the next point is nutrition. Nutrients are the essential for the various activity of the cell and the growth of the tissue. Nutrition is also called the source of energy. It is digested and then absorbed and into the cell. So first of all it is digested, then it is absorbed into the blood and then supply into the cell. For example, if you drink or eat something, so first it is digested, then it is absorbed into the blood and then it supply to the cell and act as a source of energy and function the cell, all the function of the cell are properly. Then the digestive system, circulatory system plays a major role in supply of the nutrition. Then the next point is O2 and CO2 balance. Homeostasis is also helps to maintain O2 and CO2. O2 means oxygen and CO2 means carbon dioxide. First of all, respiratory system is concerned with the supply of oxygen and removal of carbon dioxide. Then the oxygen helps the cell for the metabolism of the nutrients and carbon dioxide and other metabolic end product are removed. So oxygen helps metabolism of the nutrition and carbon dioxide and other end product that are removed from the body. Then kidney and other excretory organ that helps to removal of the excretion product like CO2 and other waste product though our urine. Then so the next point is water and electrolyte balance. It should maintain optimally. It leads dehydration and water detoxicity. If the water and electrolyte balance is decreased, so it form dehydration. If it is increased, water toxicity occurs. Kidney, skin, salivary gland, gastrointestinal tract mainly maintain the water and electrolyte balance. Then hormones. Hormones are to be synthesized and released from the endocrine glands in appropriate quantities. So each of the hormones are secret in appropriate quantities. If it is increased or it is decreased, different types of abnormality occurs. So it is essential for the metabolism of nutrients and other substance necessary for the cell. So it is necessary for metabolism and other substance necessary for the cell. Otherwise, it leads to the abnormalities. For example, goiter. We all know that goiter is a disease that occurs due to the hypersecretion of the thyroid hormone. So, the appropriate quantity of the hormone secretion is extremely important for performing all the activity of the cell. Then, the central nervous system. First, it includes the brain and spinal cord. So, central nervous system is made up of two organs, brain and spinal cord. It plays an important role in homeostasis. So sensory system detect the state of the body and brain integrate and interpret the pros and cons of this information and comment the body to act according to the motor system so that the body can avoid any damage. For example, if a mosquito bite in your hand, so the sensory system that detect that a mosquito is bite in your, for example, left hand, so in your left hand, and then the brain integrate that and receives the signal and command the body to act according to the motor system. So our brain that command our other hand, so right hand, to kill the mosquito, and the body can avoid the damage. Then the component of homeostatic system. First, sensor or detectors. So the sensor and detectors that helps to recognize the deviation or any problems. Then the control system that transmit the message to our control center and it send the information to the effector and correcting the deviation. The signal that is recognized by the detector or sensor that came into the control system. Control system mainly brain act as a control system, and then the message or the signal sends as a information to the effectors for correcting the deviation. So effectors helps to correct the deviation. You see this chart, in a normal condition any deviation or any problem occurs, then the sensory nerves can give signal to our central nervous system, for example brain, and then central nervous system act as a effector and correction any deviation and then become it normal condition. So it is all over process and main process of the homeostasis. The control system give a command, and the in a normal condition it is information gives a control system. In a normal condition, for example, a mosquito bite your left hand. So the information that came into the control system and then the comments that the effector gives and correct the deviation. For example, you kill the mosquito with your right hand, then you correct the performance so the condition become normal. Then the mechanism of action of homeostatic system. Homeostatic mechanism of the body is responsible for the normalize of various body function or body system. So homeostatic mechanism. So homeostatic mechanism of the body is mainly responsible for the normalize various body system. Whenever any changes occurs in your body, system receives and reacts by the two-way of the feedback mechanism. There is two feedback mechanism. One is negative and another is positive feedback mechanism. So first of all, what is negative feedback mechanism and what is positive feedback mechanism? So then there is a negative feedback mechanism. Negative feedback mechanism is the one to which the system react is a search way to arrest the changes or receives any direction of the changes. After the receives the signal, effector sends negative feedback signals to the system and then the system is stabilized its own function. Means in our negative feedback, it is the all over the mechanism process. When our body can arrest any changes or receives any detection to changes, after receive this message, our negative signals came back to the system and try to stabilize its own function to make the all over the system properly. This is an example of the negative feedback mechanism. where thyroxine that is released from the thyroid gland and TSH hormone that is released from the pituitary gland. The full form of TSH is a thyroid stimulating hormone, and pituitary gland control the thyroid hormone to release thyroxine hormone. So when the level of the thyroxine hormone can increase, TSH hormone secretion inhibits. So when the TSH hormone secretion is inhibits, it decreases the secretion of the thyroxine hormone. And when the thyroxine level can increase, it stimulates the TSH hormone from the pituitary gland, and due to the increased secretion of the TSH hormone, the thyroxine hormone level can decrease, and this way our negative feedback mechanism are works on and maintain the thyroxine hormone level in our body. Sorry, there is a wrong arrow. Then positive feedback mechanism. Positive feedback mechanism is the system that increase the intensity of the changes in same direction. So positive feedback mechanism is a process where a function is continuous work until the function is completely end. Positive feedback mechanism is less common than the negative feedback mechanism, and it is occurs mainly in the time of the pregnancy and blood clotting, especially in the time of delivery. This is an example of positive feedback mechanism. In the time of the pregnancy, delivery time, onset of the labor, construction of the uterus become constructed. Then movement of the fetus into the cervix. The fetus that start to movement into the cervix. Dilatation of the cervix, movement of the fetus through the cervix. Stimulation of the receptors in the cervix. Discharge of impulse from the receptor. Transmission of impulse to the hypothalamus and release of oxytocin. So oxytocin is a main hormone that helps to the construction of uterus, and it is released a large amount in the time of the delivery. It helps in the movement of the fetus, and oxytocin release until the delivery of the baby is completed. So this is an example of the positive feedback mechanism. So I will discuss about the details of the homeostatic process. If this video is helpful to you, please like, comment and subscribe my channel, and also share it with your friends. Thank you everyone.